Allele is an alternative form of a gene. Just a minute. Yes. So allele is an alternative form of gene. You have seen an example of tongue rolling, right? We discussed about dominant and recessive alleles. Now, what is dominant? Dominant means the supreme one. That means the ruling one. And recessive means the one which is, the one which is not the supreme one, the one which comes under dominant, like that. Now, we have seen an example of tongue rolling. Also, we have seen that dominant is represented by capital R and recessive is just represented by small r, right? That is for non-rolling, it's small r, and for rolling, it's r. So now we will talk about genotype and phenotype, the next topic, 3.8. 3.8 on page number 26, genotype and phenotype. Now, in genotype and phenotype, that means there are three possible situations are there, three possible things we can make. That is, both can be, that is either both can be dominant, right? If we are taking any example, for example, again take the example of tongue rolling, right? So if there are three possibilities, either both will be dominant, that means R, R, capital R, right? Capital R, R, or one will be dominant and one will be recessive. That's the other case, right? And the third case, both will be recessive. So when both are dominant, we will write capital RR. When one dominant and one recessive, then we will give it the symbol capital R, one capital R and one small r. And then both are, if both are recessive, then both small r, right? Now, if both the if in first case, if both are capital R, right? If both ones are capital R, then the tongue will roll. Also, in the second case also, when one is capital and one is small, then also tongue will roll. Why? Because one dominant allele is present there, right? And the dominant one is dominating the recessive one. So here also tongue will roll. But in the third case, where there is only the R is, both the R is small, that is, they are totally recessive in nature, the tongue will not roll. It will be a non-roller, right? You can see the three cases. RR, both dominant, tongue will roll. Second one also, one dominant, one recessive, tongue roller. Third one, both recessive, non-roller. So now, now you have to know what is a genotype and what is a phenotype. So genotype, from the name itself, we can have the definition genotype, gene. That means gene is the gene helps in the hereditary, hereditary movements and the characteristics and everything, genetic constitution. So we can define genotype as the genetic constitutions and the phenotype as the expressed shown or the characters which are shown by that particular gene, right? So genotype are the genetic constitutions of a particular individual and phenotype are the express shown or the characters shown, right? Now, for phenotype, there are two genotypes. That means phenotype is the expressed shown, genotype is the genetic characteristic. Now, for phenotype, there are two genetic characteristics. What are they? Homozygous dominant and heterozygous dominant. This is only in the case of phenotype. Now, what is a homozygous dominant? That has a similar pair, RR. That means what we saw in the above paragraph, RR, where both is dominant, both are similar, they are known as homozygous dominant. Homozygous, you all know homozygous chromosomes you have studied in the earlier classes. So homozygous means where the chromosomes are looking similar with each other, they are present on the same loci and all that. So when the things are similar, they are known as homozygous. Here also homozygous dominant means both the pair are similar, right? RR, that is capital RR. Then heterozygous means dissimilar pair, one capital R and one small r. So this is in the case of phenotype. Phenotype, which is the expression shown, and it has two types of genotypes, the genetic characteristic. First is homozygous dominant, second is heterozygous dominant. Now, the genotype of non-ruler is just one single homozygous recessive pair, RR. That means for non-rulers, only one single recessive pair is there, which is both small r's. Both small r's are present. So basically, from name a homozygous, you can write somewhere homozygous means similar and hetero means different. So that you can understand it better, homozygous dominant will be the one which have similar pair, both capital R. And heterozygous is similar pair, one capital R and one small r. And the totally recessive one has both small r's. Now come to page number 27, 3.9. From parents to children, tongue rolling, an example of inheritance. Now, an experiment or an example is shown that how from parents to children, the inheritance is passing or the characters is passing from generation, right, to generation. So you can see the picture. There is a mother, a father is there. Both are tongue rollers. They have three children. Two of them have a proper tongue roller and one is a non-roller. Now how? We will just observe the, just come to the below points. Observe the following points in the above pedigree family chart. Pedigree means a family chart. Now first point, males are shown by squares and females by circles. Both father and mother are tongue rollers. Hollow symbols represent the usual expressed character. Of the three children born, two can roll and one cannot. Solid symbol. Now here the solid symbol, you can see the purple color. Solid symbol is representing that it's a non-roller. She cannot roll her tongue. But the other two with hollow symbols are able to roll their tongue. That means they got both the particular genotype that the mother and father both are having. The mother also consists of both the genes, that is capital R and small r, one, and father also consists of this one, heterozygous dominant, one capital R and one small r. So from there, both these children, one boy and one girl, is getting one capital R pair and one one heterozygous pair. Also, the girl is also getting one dominant pair and one one homozygous dominant pair and one heterozygous dominant pair. Only the third one, the first girl, which is a non-roller, she gets only the recessive pair. That means both the parents, both the parents have heterozygous dominant pair. That is one capital R and one small r. So when the inheritance is passing, when the characters are passing, two children get each. Like boy also, girl also, they will get one homozygous dominant and one heterozygous dominant. That is capital RR and one capital R and one small r. But only this girl, which is a non-roller, she gets both the recessive pair. It depends on the location of genes. Now what is happening? It only depends on the location of genes. Where are they located? So this girl got both the recessive pairs, that is small rr. So that's why she is not able to roll her tongue. So we will read below. The recessive trait small rr of non-rolling in one of the children would have come from nowhere else but the parents. The non-roller child in the family chart with genotype RR must have received one small r gene from one parent and the other small r gene from the other parent. I told you both have small r. Both the parents have small r in their genotype. So from there, this girl got both the small r's. That is, she got both the recessive ones. Now the conclusion is that each of the two parents is heterozygous. So after all this experiment, what is the conclusion we are getting? Each of the parent is heterozygous dominant. That means one capital R and one small r. Both of them are having one pair each. That's why this girl got both the recessive pairs. If on the other hand, one parent was homozygous, capital R dominant, and the other heterozygous, capital R and small r dominant, then every child would have got at least one dominant gene from the homozygous dominant parent through the sex cells. Now, yes, it is also correct. If either one of the parent, if it's a father or mother, either of them, if one of them would have both the capital R's, then three of the children will get heterozygous dominance, right? Both will they will get, right, like the homozygous dominant also and heterozygous dominant also. But here both were heterozygous dominant. They were not homozygous dominant. They were both heterozygous dominant. That's why one girl was left with the recessive pair, right? This is the case in passing of inheritance from parents to offspring for tongue rolling. So similarly, there are many traits which are passed. So there is the example given is of tongue rolling, right? Have you all understood this much? This is little confusing. Try to understand. If you want to repeat, like if you ask me to repeat, I'll repeat. What should I do? Shall I repeat or move with the next topic?
No doubt.
No doubt? Okay, then fine. Just go through this. This is easy but a little confusing. Just make a flow chart of your own in your notebooks. Like write capital RR. Try to understand this. Make a flow chart and then you will understand it better. Now there's a green box given. Punnett square. What is a Punnett square? It is a simple diagram in which the different types of gametes, sex cells with the concerned trait of one female parent are placed along one side of the square and those of the other parent male are placed along the other side. Then the possible combinations, genotypes of the opposite gametes are given in the subsquares. The resulting phenotypes can be written under the genotypes. Now you can see this box given here. The female is written in the left side and the male genotype is written in the top. And then possible combinations are worked out, they are made out. So what are the possible combinations in this example? Here you can see parent female, heterozygous tongue roller, parent male, homozygous tongue roller. Homozygous means both capital R, heterozygous female means one capital and one small r. So what are the combinations or what are the pairs they will form? Four possibilities are there. First one, it will form both capital homozygous dominant. Second one also both capital homozygous dominant. Third one and fourth one will be heterozygous dominant. So these are the possibilities from these two genotypes. This is for an example how a Punnett square is made. So now you can see it below. Children, all rollers, 50% homozygous dominant and 50% heterozygous dominant. Both are 50% each, right? Below also heterozygous dominant also two are there. Above also homozygous dominant is also two are there. So 50% is there. So all the children will be tongue rollers. There is no recessive pair, right? Either it is homozygous dominant, or it is heterozygous dominant. There is no totally recessive pair. Like small RR is not there. So that's why all are tongue rollers. This is for an example. So basically Punnett square is the square in which we work out by taking the genotypes of parent female and parent male, then we cross them and then we make the possible combinations. So this is a Punnett square. We will require this in this whole chapter. Genetics is all about making combinations inside a Punnett square. So we will be having a look at the Punnett square in the coming topics also. Now come to page number 28. Page number 28. Now an example is given there. Can you try to explain the inheritance of the character of free or attached earlobes? In the blue box, I am reading that. Given alongside are pedigree charts of two families A and B. In family A, both parents have free earlobes and those of family B have attached earlobes. Recollect from the previous example what the symbols of circle and square indicate. So the circle and square which are filled or which are solid indicates that the character is being traced, right? That means the characters which are traced are symbolized by these solid boxes, these solid squares and the circles. And the blank ones represent the trait, right? So family A, you can see free earlobes. Family B, you can see attached earlobes. Now in family A, only two are traced, right? Only two solid symbols are there, one square and one circle. Square is for male, circle is for female, right? So one female and one male have been traced here. Traced with what? Free earlobes. And family B, all are traced. That means all the female and all the males are traced with attached earlobes. This is just for your example, just for your reference. Now this question is, can you find answers to the following? What is the difference indicated by squares and circle? Now I told you squares is for male and circles is for female. Write it down. Write it there. Circle for female and square for male. Now, what does the solid symbols and hollow symbols symbolize? Solid symbols are the characters which are being traced. Write it there on page number 28 in the blue box. Space is given. So, in front of first question, squares and circle, you have to write square stands for male, circle stands for female. And then second one, solid symbol and hollow symbols. The solid ones are the one in which the characters are being traced. The characters are being traced. That means, come to the example itself. Free earlobes, family A, only one male and one female are being traced by the character of free earlobes. But on family B, attached earlobes, all the males and all the females are traced by this character of attached earlobes. Are you getting my point? Everyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes? Yes. So I'll repeat it. In family A, free earlobes, the solid portions, the purple box and the purple circle you can see, they represent the character which is being traced. That means here, this square refers for male, circle refers for female. Now here in family A, only one male and one female is being traced by this particular character, or we can say this trait, free earlobes, right? Character is the shape of the ear. Now this is the trait, free earlobe. So only one male and one female is traced by this trait. And in family B, you can see all the boxes and all the circles are occupied. They all are solid in nature. That means all the females and all the males in the family are traced by this character of attached earlobes, right? Now, second question is there, which trait, free earlobe or the attached earlobe is dominant? Which one is dominant? Can you say which one is dominant? I'll tell you. Free earlobe, that is the family A. This trait is the dominant one. Now why? Why it is the dominant one? Because it is not occupying all the trace or it is not tracing all the characters. That's why it is dominant. The ones which trace all the characters, that means these disorders of attached earlobes, if all are traced, then it will be recessive in nature. So here, the first family with free earlobes is the dominant one. Now, family B has all children of one type only, whereas family A has both type. Parents in which family are heterozygous for the character? So heterozygous for the character is family A because they have the heterozygous dominant pair, that is one capital R and one small r, right? Attached earlobes is recessive in nature, so it will have both small r's. So here the dominant one or the parents in which family are heterozygous for the character are family A. The parents of family A are heterozygous for the character. Do you understand from where we get this answer? Because here in family A, all the characters are not traced, or all the females and males are not traced by these characters, right? So they are obviously dominant. That's why dominant means they will have, heterozygous dominant means they will have one capital R and one small r. So that's why they are heterozygous in character, right? And the other one in family B, all are being traced. They are recessive. That's why they will not be under this particular heterozygous character. So the answer for the question third is family A. Now another example is there, extreme case of polydactylity. Polydactyly, yes, polydactyly. So in this case, what happens? The child, the particular individual, is formed with 6 number of fingers in hand, along with 6 number of fingers in toes, right? So this is known as polydactyly, that is 6 finger, and normal 5 fingers is known as pentadactyly. Now here you can see mother is a non-polydactyl, means it is mother is a pentadactyl, and father, you can see occupied space is there, solid space is given. That means the character, just a minute. Yes. So here you can see mother is not a polydactyl. She is a pentadactyl. That means mother is only having 5 fingers. But the father is traced, right? You can see a solid symbol on the side of father. That means it is traced character. So the father has 6 fingers. Now when the children are born, one daughter, so 4 are born. 3 daughters are born and 1 son is there. So one of the daughter and one of the son will get father's trait. That means polydactylity they will get. And 2 of them are getting mother's trait. They are pentadactyl, right? This is just for your reference, for your better understanding. This example is given here that from mother, 2 children are getting mother's trait, 2 are getting father's trait, right? Now it will depend on which gene they are located. Everything depends on the gene, chromosome number, everything. It will depend on that particular genetic sequence, right? Now come to sex-linked inheritance. Also one more thing, in this polydactylity, it can also be removed. You can see this baby, 15-month-old Akshat from Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh, with 7 fingers in each hand and 10 toes in each foot, thus 34 digits all. He was successfully operated at AIIMS, Delhi, to remove the extra digits and reshaping a few of them both in hands and feet. So it can also be removed by some medical processes. It can be removed. So this is just for your example. It will not come in your exam. About Akshat, you don't have to write. Only you have to write about what is polydactyly, what is pentadactyly. It can come in exam, right? Now the next topic is sex-linked inheritance. Sex-linked inheritance. Now what is a sex-linked inheritance? Is the appearance of a trait which is due to the presence of an allele exclusively either on the X chromosome or on the Y chromosome. That means sex-linked inheritance is nothing but a trait which is formed due to the either it is exclusively an allele is present on X chromosome. Allele, you all know, it is the, what is an allele? It is an alternative form of gene. So either the allele is present on X chromosome or on the Y chromosome. Now the trait they produce, it depends on where the allele is present. So the trait they produce is known as sex-linked inheritance, right? Now X-linked inheritance, the next one, X-linked. Certain disorders caused due to heredity such as hemophilia and color blindness are more common in males than in females. Such defects are due to recessive genes which occur on the X chromosome. So basically, we are taking just an example that certain diseases or disorders like hemophilia and color blindness All these disorders are basically seen in males. Why? Because these defects are due to the recessive genes which are present on the X chromosome. Now, X chromosome which is present in the male. So that's why male stands with XY. So when X chromosome is occupied with these recessive genes, X chromosome will be occupied with them, only the Y will be left. So that's why a disorder is formed there. Color blindness is an inherited disease due to which affected individuals cannot differentiate between certain colors, mostly red and green. You can check if you are normal or colorblind by reading the numbers given in the three colored circles in the chapter Sense Organs. If you can see them, you are normal, otherwise colorblind as in fourth circle. Yes. Hemophilia is a genetic disorder in which sufferers, homozygous recessive female and the recessive X-bearing male are at a risk of bleeding to death because the blood fails to clot in them. Rare cases of hemophiliac males do occur practically, but practically none of hemophiliac females. So basically hemophilia, color blindness, everything is mostly seen in males because of the recessive gene, that is small rr present on the present on the X chromosome. That's why these are mainly seen in males. The following cases explain the sex-linked X chromosome-linked inheritance of color blindness or hemophilia in humans. Now you all know what is hemophilia. It is a case where blood do not clot in people. Like some amount of blood should be clot. It is supposed to be clot in our body. Otherwise, it will just squeeze out from our body, and due to blood loss, it will lead to the person will obviously eventually lead to death. So this is the case with hemophilia. Mostly occurs in males. So here crisscross inheritance, another topic is shown here. We'll just have a look. Mother to son and father to daughter. Inheritance of X-linked genes as in color blindness and hemophilia is also called crisscross inheritance. Now, what do you mean by crisscross inheritance? It is already written in the top, mother to son and father to daughter. Can you see this box? Female, male, mother, father, daughter and son are written in below. Now, the inheritance is carried from father to daughter and from mother to son. That means they are crossing. So that's why this is known as crisscross inheritance. This is because the son may get it from the otherwise normal but carrier mother, and the colorblind father may pass it on to the daughter, making her colorblind if the mother is a carrier. Now, we will study this case 1, heterozygous, normal mother XX and colorblind father. That means the mother is normal, but the father is colorblind. So we will denote colorblind with X dot, not a dot, X, a degree sign is there, and then Y. Now, look at the left side. Normal mother, symbol is XX, both capital X. And on the above, colorblind father, symbol is X, circle Y. Now, just look into the box. First formed carrier daughter is XX dot. That means it is normal. Sorry, no, it is not normal. It has a dot. That means this daughter, this carrier daughter is colorblind. Next one formed is XY. So it is a normal son. Just a minute. Yeah. The third one, XX dot. That means this is also a carrier daughter. She will carry this particular type of trait, which is color blindness. From the father, she got this. The last one is XY normal son. That means if they have 4 children, 2 son and 2 daughter, both the son are normal. They are not getting father's trait. Why? We have seen crisscross inheritance, mother to son and father to daughter. So here father is transferring his inheritance, this particular trait, color blindness, to his daughters. So both the daughters are getting color blindness. Now you can see daughters heterozygous dominant, normal vision. This XY normal sons, none of the children is colorblind, but daughters are carriers. So they are getting color blindness, but they are the carriers of color blindness. They are not properly getting color blind. of the defective allele of color blindness. So they are just carrying the defective allele of this color blindness particular trait. These daughters are the carriers for this trait. You have seen in crisscross inheritance also, mother to son, father to daughter, daughters are the carriers for this inheritance in crisscross. So here also in case 1, the daughters are the carriers for this inheritance. And the son, they have nothing to do with this trait. They are, they have passed the inheritance they got this inheritance from their mother, right? In case 2, you see carrier mother, not colorblind, and normal father. You can see on the left, carrier mother x dot x and normal father xy. Now you can see on the box, x dot x carrier daughter, x dot y colorblind son, xx normal daughter, xy normal son. That means here the sun is colorblind. Why? Because that particular dot, that symbol of color blindness is coming between both the X and Y chromosome. And here daughter is carrier because both X chromosome has a circle in between. Also the other daughter and the normal son, they are normal. They will not carry this particular type of trait. They are normal daughter and normal son. You understood this much?
Yes,
Everyone? Yes, can I get a yes? Everyone understood? Shall I repeat?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, you want a repetition? I'll repeat it. So we will just look case 1 again, normal mother and colorblind father. Now, we have already seen crisscross inheritance where the mother is transferring to the son and the father is transferring to the daughter, right? The inheritance is transferred to the daughter by father. So look at this case. Father is colorblind, mother is normal with normal vision. So when daughters are formed, 2 daughters are formed and 2 sons are formed. Okay, they have 4 children. So both daughters formed will be carrier daughters. That means you can see this X, X and then dot, right? X, X and then a dot is coming. They are the carrier daughters. That means they will carry this trait to the next generation. Like if this daughter got this trait from her father, she is not, she is not properly affected by this trait, but she will carry this to her next generation. But the son formed, they are inherited from the mother. That's why they are normal son. In case 2, you see normal father and carrier mother is there. Father is normal, but mother is a carrier mother who is carrying this particular type of trait. So the daughter, 2 daughters and 2 sons are formed. The daughter will be carrier daughter. Only one daughter will be carrier daughter. The other will be colorblind son. Because X between X and Y, one dot is coming. That's why the son will be colorblind son. Other daughter and the other son will be both very normal. Both will be very normal. Only one daughter will be a carrier daughter. One son will get the inheritance from this carrier mother. Here also crisscross inheritance is accepted, or appropriate is crisscross inheritance because mother to son and father to daughter. Here you see in the second case carrier mother is there. That means mother is carrying this trait. The son will obviously get the color blindness and the daughter will just carry it as her father did, right? She is getting the inheritance from father. So that's why she is just the carrier daughter and the other 2 found will be the normal ones. Right? In case 3, we have to work out the progeny. Progeny means offspring in the following Punnett square. Now you see a colorblind man, x dot y, and a carrier woman, x dot x. That means it will form 100%, 100% progeny will be there. That means the daughter will be x dot x dot, right? Carrier mother, you see, carrier woman, x dot x, and colorblind man, x dot y. So the daughter is getting from this man. So x dot will be in the first box. Then in second box, x dot y, a boy with Which type of vision? Colorblind. The boy will be colorblind. Then third one, X dot X. That means X dot X means the daughter is carrier daughter. And the last one will be a normal boy. So here, two carrier daughters are, in the box we can say, on the first box we can write one carrier daughter is there. Second one, colorblind son is there. Third one, carrier daughter. Fourth one, normal son. So the symbols is like goes like this. For first carrier daughter, X dot X dot. Then for colorblind person or this colorblind son, X dot Y. Then for this third one, that is the carrier daughter again, X dot X. That means between two X, one circle will be there. And the last one will be a normal boy with a normal son with normal vision. That is XY. No dots in between. Only XY. Now just come to the next page. We will do the progress check quickly. Page number 30, progress check. Write the basic unit of heredity. First question. What is the basic unit of heredity? Gene. Gene carries heredity. So you have to write gene. Then define the following terms. You have to just go through the pages, back pages. You will get all the definitions. Allele, you will get it. Dominant gene, genotype, phenotype, recessive gene, everything you will get the definition in your book itself. Then third one, mention the number of paired homozygous chromosomes in human female and human male. What are the paired chromosomes number in both of them? 23 each. In human female also 23. In human male also 23. Then fourth one, can there be a heterozygous recessive? No, there cannot be a heterozygous recessive because the phenotype is only of homozygous dominant and heterozygous dominant. There is no heterozygous recessive pair, right? Now, list any 4 traits in humans which you can easily study just by observing and making family charts. So all the 4 traits you will get from this table given in 27 page number, eye color, tongue, hand. You have to write the trait, the dominant and the recessive trait you have to write differently. So if you take eye color as an example, brown and blue. Then if you take hand or earlobe is free and attached. Hand if you take right-handedness and left-handedness. So you can give any 4 of them as an example, right? Now the next topic, Mendel's experiment on inheritance. We will do this in the next class because it is a little long topic. We have to, we have to understand the crosses. So there is a lot of things to know. We will do this in the next class. For today, we will stop here. If anyone has a doubt, they can ask right now, or you may leave. Do you all have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if no, then you may leave. We'll continue in the next class.